Hello, we are live. Do I have time to make a cup of tea? Probably should have done that first. No, never mind. I can't go live and then go away to make a cup of tea, can I? Let's check the frame is good whilst we're waiting. Alex is here today, everybody, to answer your questions as I'm sewing. We'll give it a couple of more minutes until I do a proper introduction. So, drama's happening today. Good morning, Anessa. Drama's happening over the past couple of days in terms of Coco. Hi Claire, hi Joanne. Coco has suddenly become a wild cat. I guess it's her age and it's spring. No, Poppy, no. Poppy's starting to growl. And she basically has caught a mouse and a little blue tip. So we've now ordered a bell to put on her. Hi guys. But yeah, we're very upset because Mum and Dad are big bird lovers as well. So they're like, well, this is not acceptable. I was like, I know. And what's so cruel about cats is they just eat them. They just kill them and they don't eat them. Anyway, rant over. Hi Sandra, hi Lynn, hi Debbie. I've dressed up for you all today. I'll tell you about that when I start. Hello, hi Joy. Aww. Poppy, do not bark. When Poppy barks suddenly, it really, really makes me jump. So let's hope she doesn't. I know, Poppy, I know you're looking at me. What's up? Hi Brenda. Hi Esther. I can spot the Betty dress. I'm gonna tell you about this. There's a lot of makeup on me today so that I don't look so... Oh, Lorianne, it's 5 a.m. in Oregon. Oh my goodness, sorry. I'll talk quietly, Lorianne. It's very early. Hi Anne from Aberdeen. Hello. Alex, tell me when I'm ready to go. I think I probably should be. All of 1 minute. Oh, there's questions already. Alex, it looks like you're going to be busy. Hi, Catherine. I think we should start. It's 12:59. Da, da, da. Good morning from Virginia. Hi, Marilyn. Somerset. We've also got Shanannette in West Yorkshire. Kim from Bristol, and somebody, the little brown mouse from Cape Town. Wow, hi. Hopefully you've got nice warm weather now. And hi Victoria from Oxfordshire, Claire Wright, she's from Leicestershire. Aurélie from France. Ah, yes we do. Lucky you guys having sunshine. That helps the situation a lot more. We are going to have apparently 18 degrees. Oh, we've got cloudy and wet Spain. Oh, sorry, Jeanette. Yeah, but apparently we're going to have 18 degrees. Okay, guys, I'm going to start because I've got a lot to get through. And even Speedy Sewing Lisa's still going to struggle with this. So, guys, I really wanted to wear a Betty dress for this because this is the Betty dress sew along. However, I didn't have a Betty dress with me because I grabbed my stuff, all my summer clothes, to be honest, I was in storage because I was expecting to have moved into my place by now. So I thought, you know, I don't need it. But I got up, well, I was up early anyway this morning, but this is, I'm wearing it with leggings, guys. Woohoo! Looks great with leggings, doesn't it? Da, da, da. But I just want to show you the full thing. Try not to fall over. So yes, I got up. Oh, I should show you the back. How lovely is the back of Betty, so pretty. So I got up super early with Jasmine as I always do, but at 7 o'clock I was sewing this dress. So I cut it out yesterday and I was meant to start sewing it last night, but I just felt so exhausted I couldn't. So I made this, started at 7. I stopped for about half an hour for breakfast with Mum, Dad and Jasmine. We had pancakes and I finished it at 11:30. It is bagged out, so I haven't got a facing on it. It just means that I've cut the bodice twice And because I didn't have any lining, Mum gave me an old pillowcase to bag it out with. So that's what I have done. Anyway, so today I'm making 1.5 Bettys, it seems. Be like closing my eyes and just seeing Betty as I go to sleep tonight. But anyway, speedy sewing. And I haven't got one in this fabric, and I do love this fabric. It's the All Roses fabric. Right, this is, though I am going to get a bit cold because even though Dad's popped the heating on, it is still chilly up here. So I'm going to put my cardie on. This is one of my Lisa Comfort cardies. Oh, okay. Right, so at least you've seen the Betty dress now. So guys, we are going to sew the Betty dress together. So hopefully everyone has cut out their pieces. We're going to need a front piece. How gorgeous is this fabric? It's silk cotton. I got it in India. And I did intend to sell this, but some of it's got marks on it, so we couldn't really put it up in the normal way. Then we've got 2 back pieces. There we go. And we've got the big, oh, here goes the spaceship. And then we've got this. Ta-da! So that's the front. But I've marked already my dart points on this one, on the front bodice. But I thought I would do the back bodice with you guys just so you can see how I mark my darts. Also, I haven't had a chance to cut it out, but I'm going to do exactly the same with this. With this as I did with this. So I'm not going to use the facing. I'm going to bag it out. It's called bagging it out. So I'm going to fully line the bodice. But it does follow exactly the same technique. So if you guys are doing facings, then you can obviously follow exactly the same. But I just thought it'd be nice to do it because it maybe the next one you make, or for those of you that haven't yet cut out anything, then you could learn and see how I do it, because there is a bit of hand sewing to attach it all. So I don't know if I'll get a chance to do it all on camera, but I can certainly show you it. So yes, I think we will have homework, guys, if we're going to carry on this tomorrow. So just giving you a heads up, no late nights. Having a late night at the moment, it's a hard thing. It certainly is for me. Okay, so can we see what I'm doing? Kind of. Here it is. This is my back piece, and I am going to mark my darts. Now, I've already clipped in my notches at the bottom. Oh no, I haven't. I need to clip those in, don't I? They're clipping my notches, so I am making a size 8. So my size, we do get quite a few requests or asks questions about how tall I am. I'm 5'6½", and I'm currently a size 8 on top and usually a size 10 on the bottom. Yes, but for something like this, I'm very much, because it's the bodice is fitted, but the skirt isn't, then I go with an 8. Anything with a flared skirt. So I'm now going to mark this. Now you've got those points there, and you'll see them. And I'm going to pop a little mark in the 8 circle. And then I'm going to put a pin in. Whoops. Like that. And I am going to mark it from that side. Okay. And then I've done all my notches, so I'm going to take my pattern off. I wonder if I could lower this a bit for you guys so you can see. Oh gosh, don't fall off. Yeah, better that you see less of me, or not the top of my head, but more of here, I think. So, okay. Did I put those in? Yes, I did. Okay, so we've got 2 of those. Just check. Yeah, I've got that notch there. Oops. Right. So, little bit on fabric. I am making this out of this cotton silk. This is cotton lawn, which is a really lightweight fabric, cotton, really fine cotton, and it's lovely and soft. This is the Lisa Comfort fabric. So we have the first collection was cotton lawn. And so you normally can get this, and actually we are hoping as of in a couple of days, we'll be having some kind of online shop back up and running for physical products as well as digital products. So watch this space. Oh, I forgot to do my proper intro, didn't I? Oh, hopeless. Okay, so guys, if you're new here and you're wondering what I'm sewing, this is the Betty dress. It was inspired by Betty Draper from Mad Men. This is it. This was the first dress that I designed alongside the shift dress. It is just it's our bestseller dress. It's just literally just, I think everyone just thinks it's such a fabulous dress and it just suits so many people. So that's why we decided to make this one as our first big dress project. What else was I gonna say? Yes, so you can download the pattern on our website. It's available as a PDF and you can print it at home. We are also trying to get our copy shop service up and running as well. So watch this space. You may even be able to order the Betty dress and get it printed by us and then post it out to you. So we are looking into that to give us a couple of days to confirm that one as well. So this video is free. We want all of our live Sewalongs to be free, but we do ask if you can afford to, please do donate. Obviously, like many other businesses, we are struggling as well, and I am trying everything in my, what would you say? Everything in my powers to keep our business going. And so this is why I came up with this idea, because I thought, it would be great to be able to keep people busy at home, and it would cheer everybody up and it would cheer me up and it would give us something to do at work. But also I'm hoping it will encourage people to support us in any way that they can. So intro over. Sorry that I didn't do that properly. The link to our donation page is in the description box below. It's just a PayPal link. You can just click on it and pop in whatever you want to donate, and then it's very simple. Right, so we are marking darts, aren't we? Let's do this one then. So I'm going to talk about fabric once I've started marking my dart. Right, so reason why you cut your fabric right sides together is that if you then need to mark anything through the pattern, it goes onto the wrong side. So I am taking this, I am placing my notches together for this is for the bust dart, this is the dart here. And I'm also going to fold it here at the point where, let's make sure that is the right one. No, it's not. At the point there where the end of the dart is. Okay. Okay. Then I'm going to take this, place it right sides together. And I'm going to do the waist dart as well. So I'm just looking now, I've got one notch. Where's my other notch? It's there. They're further apart there than I've remembered. Okay, so placing them right sides together, and then we're going to pop a little pin in, and then we're going to find our bust point, I guess it's just the lower bust point here, at that point like that. So you go around marking, pinning all your darts in like so, and then I always, just to make my life easy, I take a fabric pen and a ruler. Oh, I've got one over here, just a sec. Okay, can you see what I'm doing? Yeah, kind of. And I'm going to place my ruler on the notch and then angle it off towards the point, and then I'm going to draw myself a stitch line. Oops, that's marked. So this pen is a Frixion pen, and it basically disappears with heat, steam as well. And then I'm just going to put a few more pins in here, just so that I'm keeping it in place a little bit more. So this is quite a bouncy fabric. It's absolutely beautiful to work with, but it is a little bit bouncy. So I want to make sure that that doesn't slide away in the middle and that it stays in place. So I'm now just going to do the same with this side. I'm going to do exactly what I just did. Let's see if you can see. So I've got point of my dart, end of the ruler there. The other part of the ruler, end of the ruler, is lined up with the notch, and then we are going to pop some, draw a line along there, and then I'm just going to pop some more pins in. So guys, we have got a lot of darts here. We have got 4 darts in the front bodice and we've got 2 in the back. So let's get marking those darts, and I shall chat about fabric and things whilst we're doing that. So there is a video up on the archive somewhere on this YouTube channel of my Betty collection. It's no longer as big as it was. I've given quite a few of them away because I just don't wear them as often as I used to, just because my lifestyle's changed a bit, I guess, ever since I had Jazzy. But I had about 18 Betty dresses, an obscene amount. I used to knock them up in an evening. I loved them so much, and I think I still do. But yeah, they were perfect for work for me. They were great for going out for dinner. They were great for weddings, summer parties, also winter parties. So I used to make them in winter. I've got one that's in wool, like a lightweight wool, almost like a suiting fabric. Ah, Alex has put a link up to it. Super speedy. Well done, Alex. So that's a link to my Betty collection if you're interested. And so yeah, so I've made one out of that. I've made one out of kind of tweed fabric. I've made one, so we're making this one out of silk cotton. Obviously lots in cotton lawn, lots in cotton poplin. It is a beautiful cotton dress. I sort of say that's the most suitable fabric. I would steer clear of drapey fabrics though. So your rayons, your crepes, they are not going to make up well because they've not got enough structure in there. So the bodice does need fabric with enough structure because it's got the darts and it is very fitted. So I wouldn't do it in that, but you could use a brocade, jacquard, that would be nice. You could even do it in cord. The design of a full circle skirt does not lend itself to a fabric with a directional print. So that's another thing to bear in mind. It depends if it's going to bother you, but a directional print is when, say for example, flowers are growing very obviously up in one direction. And when you make a full circle skirt, because at lots of points it basically hits the fabric at all points when you're doing a full circle skirt, and therefore you are inevitably going to have a part of the skirt where it is upside down. So then it doesn't look great. Okay, see that? Here's my bodice, fully pinned. Let's move on to the back. Same principle. There's a little bit of a mark on this one. This one might have to end up being my inside. No, can't. Is it coming off? Yeah, it's not very noticeable. I think it's probably just a little bit of dust. So hopefully you all pre-pressed your fabric, pre-steamed it, pre-washed it. If you've got fabric like this, like a silk, I don't take it to the dry cleaners and get it to be dry cleaned. I just simply press it. Didn't I? What's happened? I literally was like, oh, I will mark that with you. I did not. Didn't we mark it together? It's not shown. How bizarre. It's already evaporated. Maybe the pen wasn't working. Bear with me, guys. I'm just going to mark the point of my dart again on here. There we go. Oh, my mum's just walked past it. So basically, we didn't manage the timing so well today. No, Poppy, it's mum. We didn't manage the timing so well today, and I ran out of time to put Jasmine down. So I got, for her nap, I got one story. And then I was like, Mum, you're going to have to take over. I can't do this. I've got to go. But yeah, it's been quite a full-on day today because I've been sewing furiously, trying to cut this out and get ready. And then every day we have a meeting. The team and I, we have a chat on Google Hangout we use. Yes, it's just been a bit full-on. So when I finish this today, I promise Mum that I will take over Jasmine Care for the rest of the day. And because they have done an amazing job today, and I'm also going to make everybody dinner tonight. It's not going to be a great dinner, guys. I've offered scrambled eggs up. I feel like after today, that's all I can muster. Mum's like, Mum's so good. Oh yes, lovely darling, that would be lovely. She's just so pleased that someone else will cook. Scrambled eggs served with Sauvignon Blanc and ketchup. Bit of ketchup. Okay, so it's a bit of a skinnier dart in the back there because there's less shaping. If you think about our backs, they're not as shapely as our fronts. So we don't need as deep a dart. Okay, now next one. Oh no, did I mark it? Yeah, I did. God, forgetting. So the cushion that you'll see behind me was from the beginner session I had on Monday. And I decided, I said in it, like, wouldn't it be nice if, you know, if you've got loads of cushions, why not make a cushion for somebody who's, you know, really self-isolating at the moment, who's a vulnerable person, or just someone who's having a harder time than you. So I finished the session. I said, look, Mum, who in the village is, you know, needs a cushion, basically? Who would like one? And so apparently there's a woman who reads Prima. She's in her 90s, and she came up to Mum, was like, oh my goodness, is Lisa Comfort your daughter? Because she reads Prima and has seen my column in there. And so Mum was like, she's, you know, poor woman, she's on her own, in her 90s, so definitely self-isolating, and would definitely appreciate a cushion from you. So I'm going to make another one and take it round there and leave it on her doorstep. Right, guys, we're ready for some sewing now. Because I've got silk, one thing I was meant to do, and I've realised I've forgotten, is I haven't changed my needle. So just bear with me. I'm just going to grab a needle that's finer. Ideally, I want a size 11, but I've got a 14 in there, but it looks like the only one I have here looks like it's a 9. Ooh, might have an 11 in here. So I generally sew with a 14 unless I'm making something fine like this. Then you do need a finer needle, because if you use a bigger needle or a blunt needle, then you will end up with it splitting and catching threads in the fabric, and that can be catastrophic in silk. It can really damage the silk, so I don't want to do that. Oof. I mean, you can't even get silk pins, but this silk is woven with cotton, so it's not so fine. Okay, pressure now, guys. I've got to thread a needle whilst we're doing this. There we go. Especially a really fine needle. Come on. Yes. Okay, I'm sewing with white thread because that's the only, Molly very kindly grabbed some fabric, some threads for me, but the only other colour that's similar is that, and it's darker. So white will be better. Okay, right guys, here we are. I am going to just slightly change my seam allowance, stitch length, just it's a little bit longer. Again, I just prefer with a kind of fabric like this just to sew with a slightly longer stitch. So it's about just under 3 at the moment. And then I'm going to line up the middle of the presser foot with my dart. And away we go. I've reversed at the beginning. And then take my pins out as I get to them. Ooh. And now as I come to the edge, we are going to literally sew off the edge at the point where the point of the dart is. So let me show you. Can you see? So I did a reverse here, and I did, here is where the point of the dart was, and I've literally just come off. There we go. So I'm now going to tie a knot in that. Oh, for goodness sake. It's the most demanding iron ever. I feel like we should name my iron. It's become such a feature, Mum and Dad's iron of these. I also did put, I thought, my little snippy scissors somewhere to hand. No, I don't know where they have gone. So we shall be snipping threads with the beasts again. Cut threads off, and then I'm going to pop that on the ironing board for pressing afterwards. 1 dart down, done, and we have got 5 to go. So let's keep chatting. So we haven't done an online class, or rather a classic course as we now call them, for our Betty dress. But on our Stitch School, there are lots of videos that are related to this or sort of similar skills. So if you want to see me sew a dart properly in terms of better vision with the different cameras, and if you want more help on cutting out and pinning and all that sort of thing, that is on our Stitch School. Also on our Stitch School are fitting videos. So there are videos with the wonderful Julie where we actually talk about what to do with how to fit the Betty bodice. So obviously I'm not going to be including fitting issues when I do these sew-alongs, because it's enough just doing the construction, and also it's so varied, the fitting issues. But we do go into that on Stitch School. So if you want to sign up to Stitch School, you can access that kind of information for £5 a month. So Alex, I think, has just put a link up to it if you want to have a look. But we did a really fascinating. Ooh, just check that. Did it skip a stitch? Yeah. Why are you not happy? Oh, Mr. Bobbin has run out. Mr. Bobbin. Oh no, he hasn't. I thought you were full. For some reason he snapped. Yeah, we did a really interesting video with Julie, our in-house whiz in terms of fitting. She's also a pattern cutter. She in fact did the pattern for this. She's been with me since the beginning. I worked with her at Philippa Lepley. It's a bridal wear designer. What we did is Rosie and I offered up ourselves as mannequins, or rather figures to fit, and she talked about what to do with a full bust, as Rosie's got a full bust, and what to do with a small bust. Now my bust at the moment is a little bit bigger than it was, but back then in the summer it was very small. And so, yeah, we've got a full bust adjustment on there, we've got a small bust adjustment, and we've also got Julie talking about it in the context of toiles and things and fitting on the actual figure. So if you are interested in that, you can, check that out on our Stitch School. It is really good. And for those of you that are already members of Stitch School, sadly we were planning to do lots of them, with Julie this year, so hopefully at some point we'll be able to do that again. But we are aware that kind of knowledge, we need to get it out Julie's head, and we need to bring it to you guys, because there's a wealth of knowledge there, and fitting, I think, by far is the hardest thing when it comes to dressmaking. Fitting in chiffon, I think. Imagine if I had to have a chiffon dress. Yeah, chiffon is a tricky one, isn't it? If you've worked with chiffon before, you'll know what I'm talking about. I think silk chiffon's easier because it presses well, but polyester chiffon, ooh, no thank you. Bouncy, bouncy, slippy, slippy, fray, fray. So yesterday, after my this sew-along, the other sew-along, the t-shirt sew-along, if you're watching this and you haven't seen the one yesterday, it was all, I did the Bilberry t-shirt. Anyway, after that, played with Jazzy when she woke up, and then around 4 o'clock I went off for a run for about an hour and did 6.5 miles, and I was really pleased that I was able to do that, because I haven't been running like I was. So I was like, amazing, came back, was feeling great. Sometimes when you come back from runs, you just feel like you're just on top of the world. It's just all the endorphins, and I was feeling fabulous. Though I don't think Dad then made me, I had a glass of water, and then Dad made me tea and cake, and we sat down and watched the briefing of the day, which is, we basically try not to watch the news in the day, and then we just watch that on the BBC News at the end of 5 o'clock. Anyway, that finished, and we were getting Jazzy's tea ready, and I thought, it's about 6 o'clock. I'm going to have a nice glass of white wine. And then we had food with Jazzy, and then I always do, which is I go and have a bath with her. And this time I made the bath a bit hotter, because the time before it was too cool. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be sick. I really had to try everything in me to not be sick. And so I was like, oh great, I'm getting ill. And then I was like, well, I don't know how I'm getting ill because I haven't seen anybody. So I can't have picked anything up from somebody. And mum and dad aren't ill. We're all eating the same things. Anyway, I was like, oh, I bet it was the run. I bet basically I didn't hydrate myself enough after the run and then decided to have a glass of wine, a large glass of wine. Anyway, that's the real reason why I couldn't sew last night, because I felt so rotten. By the time I put Jazzy down, come back through, I don't know, it was about 8 o'clock-ish. Yeah, I just like, I'm not sewing, I can't, I need to lie down. So I didn't. Anyway, I feel a bit bad because everyone's been a bit stressed today in this house because I've been rushing trying to get everything done for this. And Dad's like, and it's all because, Lisa, you had a glass of wine and went on a big run. It's like, yeah, sorry. The other way around there, Dad. Anyway, so what I wanted to do is a short run, alternate. So do a short run, like a 3-mile run one day, and then maybe a 6-7 mile run the next day. And then every 2 weeks do a really long run. Normally I wouldn't run every day, but I think at the moment it's good for the old mental health and just getting out and about and having some time by myself as well. Right, guys, all stitched. So we need to do some ironing before we do the next stage. Oh gosh, hoopla. So, can you see, kind of? There's my piece of fabric to protect my dad's table. Whoopsies, sorry. Sorry, Poppy, woke you up. Oh! I've just wafted the back bodice pieces onto the floor. Right, so what I'm going to do is what I did yesterday. Just pull that up so you've got a bit more of it in sight. Right, so we are now going to do our pressing of our darts. So we are going to press our back darts towards the centre back, which is the straight edge. It's also obvious in that this is the armhole because it's curved and this is the back neckline. Okay, so we're pressing them. Now, that wasn't a very well pressed dart. So what you want to do is you want to really pull your fabric taut, and so that you're really getting it completely open. And then you might want to also press from the right side. Really, I should not be pressing directly onto this. I maybe need to have a bit of a scrap. No, that's not a scrap. Oh, there's a scrap there. And just press through that. Sorry, guys. Can I get through? Oh. Wah! It's like an obstacle course. Okay, so I'm just going to use a scrap of the same fabric and press through that from the right side. Because sometimes you just need to give it a little bit of a press. Oh gosh, that's not working, is it? There we go, better. I think I've got it a bit too hot. Give it a slap. Okay, that's not beautifully pressed there, but it's fine for now. So I think I need to put a little bit more steam into this next one. Let's try again. It's interesting, this fabric. It's sort of bouncy, which implies that it can take some heat, and actually it can't. Oh gosh, what am I doing here? What is going on? There we go, so better. Right, so pressing towards the centre back from those back bodice pieces. And then I'm going to take this, place it over. Actually, yeah. And I'm just going to press it from the front as well. Yes. That's better. It's a nicer one. Okay. So we're then going to go and do the press the ones on the front bodice. So the bust darts are going down towards the hem, so go and press that way. And these are going towards the side seams. That's a standard direction that you press things. if you are pressing from the right side, don't do it if you've got really, not really heavy, but if you're using something like wool, because if you then press from the right side, you'll then get an indentation of where the fold of the dart comes through on that side. So you've got to judge it, or you're very careful with your iron and you just iron the seam and you don't come down on where the fold of the dart is. Okay, and this one. Okay. Little bit of pressing from this side. Little bit. Some, for whatever reason, press better than others. Okie dokie doodly. Right. Bye-bye, Mr. Iron. Popped it on standby. I think that's the key thing to do with this iron, and then it doesn't shout at me. Okay. Then, sewing machine back. Okay. So now what we are going to do is we are going to join at the the side seams. So often when you're making, oops, that's the wrong side. What am I doing? There we go. Often when you're making a bodice, you do shoulder seams and side seams, but because of the way that we bag it out with the facing or the lining, if you're going to line it like me, you need those shoulders to be kept open. So we are not going to be joining up the shoulder seams, we're just going to be doing the side seams. So I've basically taken the back bodice piece and the front piece, and I'm lining them together, right sides together, and at the side seams. So making sure that the dart stays in that downward position that you've just pressed it. Yeah? Okay, so that's that side, and now I'm going to go on and do the other side. Oh my gosh, I fell down a TikTok hole last night. Well, not last night, yesterday afternoon with Jasmine. I don't know, my friends introduced me to TikTok a couple of months ago. It's basically another social media platform. It seems to be just sort of short videos of dancing or comedy or all sorts of different things. But the dancing is the ones that really I love. And there's this foot thing where you have to kind of, this little foot routine. Anyway, Jazz and I are going to attempt it. But as a result, that song was in my head all of yesterday. Can't remember it now, which is good. Haven't had a chance to look at it today. Okay, so the seam allowance with this is a 5/8 of an inch or 1.5. It's pretty standard for most dressmaking patterns, and certainly for all of our dressmaking patterns. This is the seam allowance. So for the adult ones, it's different from the Poppy and Jazz. And unless we state otherwise, and actually on this one, when we get to the neckline, that will be a 1 centimetre seam allowance. But for the regular seams, it's 1.5. Now, if you are making this for the first time and you're not going to be making a toile, you might want to stitch this seam with a long stitch length, because then if you do need to unpick it, it will be a lot easier to unpick. The first stage once we've sewn these together, we are going to try this on. I'm not going to because I know it fits, but if you guys need to, you need to check the fit of it at this point, because the next stage is to sew up the skirt and then attach that to the bodice. So we want to make sure the bodice is fitting okay before you attach the skirt. So what I'd recommend doing is stitching the side seams. Don't press them. Just leave them and then hand stitch the shoulder seams together so that you can then try it on. So if you basically place those right sides together, and then you'll be able to try it on and check the fit. Oh, such a gorgeous colour, isn't it? Don't know if I can pull it off though. I'm gonna need to make sure I've really definitely got a nice strong lipstick on. When have I not got a strong lipstick on? Okay, so I'm going to trim those seams. Now, another thing that's slightly different if you are doing the line version, which is what I'm doing. So if you're doing the facings, the instructions will tell you to make sure that you overlock or zigzag stitch the side seams and also the centre back seam before you press everything and go onto the skirt. That's because you want them to be all neatly finished before you kind of carry on handling the fabric. If you're going to do the line version, there's no need to do that because it's going to be encased in the lining. So it will be completely covered and lined inside, so you don't need to do that. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go straight ahead and press these seams open. If you've overlocked them together, then press them towards the back on the side seams. And obviously the centre back is just going to stay a singled overlocked edge. It's for when we put the zip in. There we go. Brain is slowly coming and clicking into order. Right, for this it's not so much ironing, so I'm just going to do it like this. So just pressing, can you see anything? Kind of. Just pressing these seams open. Oh no, I put it on standby, didn't I? Oh, I'm gasping for a cup of tea. I wish I could be like, Mum, can you make me tea? I can't ask Mum to make me tea. Poor woman is having a bit of quiet time. Do you see Dad outside though? No, I can wait. Oh, 41 minutes. Guys, we've been doing this already for quite a while. Gosh, time flies. Oh, we're going to have a lot of homework. Oh, we are. I know where I want us to get up to though before tomorrow. So, right, that is the bodice done. So we're going to put that to one side, guys. And then we're going to move on to the skirt. So the skirt is lovely and easy. It is simply joining side seams and centre back seams. Now, Mum's creeping into the kitchen from the garden. So there should be a notch that marks the bottom of where the zip would go in the centre back edge. The centre back edge can be found with that dart there, and then also a pair of notch, and then a pair of notches there. That's your centre back. Oh gosh, we've got dramas. We've got dramas. Dad is reversing the car. The dog has gone outside. Sorry, I basically can see everything that's going on in our drive down here. Close call, Mum. Okay, so I have pinned from that notch at the bottom of the zip all the way down to the hem and used those balance notches to make sure I'm aligned. I'm not going to sew it right all the way up to, I'm just going to sew till just below that. So we don't need to sew this together because we have, so we don't need to go because the zip is going in. Now, another thing I should say is, ideally, you want to overlock these separately before you stitch it together. However, because I'm trying to do this kind of as quickly as possible so you guys, we get as far ahead as we can, I'm actually going to overlock them separately after I've sewn it. You could also not sew this seam up, and you could just leave it to the end and sew it up from once you put the zip in. Oh gosh. Sorry guys, my dad is reversing. They've got a camper van, he's reversing it, and he's just gone into the washing line that he is attached to the drain pipe, and the drain pipe has now come down. Sorry. Okay, so I've pinned that one. I'm now going to pin the other ones. So we're pinning our side seam. So I've got my front skirt piece here. It's a lot of fabric, isn't there here, guys? So I'm going to take that and place that right sides together. And I'm going to line up the notch there at the top there. And I'm also going to line up my next notch. So we've got another notch about there. So we've got top, notch, notch, and then we've got the hem. So you always start at the top of the garment and then move towards the hem. And we always sew in that direction as well. So if there's any discrepancy, it goes into the hem and not the waist seam. So speaking of the waist seam, if you have tried on the bodice and you've needed to make some alterations around the waist, so maybe you've had to make it a little bit bigger, or maybe you've had to make it a little bit smaller, you'll need to make that here. Now you haven't got that much room to play with, you've only got your seam allowance, but if you do need to make the waist bigger, you can just cut a deeper curve. If you look on the pattern, you'll see that the way that the size is grayed up is by getting a deeper curve along the waist. So if you need to get it bigger, you can do that. And obviously if you need to get it smaller, then you can just sew a smaller side seam. But it's good to know that at this point. Okay, we're almost there, aren't we? Yes. Oh, I've got another bit of dirty fabric there. Still, it's not very noticeable, and I don't like fabric going to waste. You can see it's just very slight, and I reckon it'll come off. There we go. It's hard to see where I'm at with everything. So what the plan is for us to get to today, or for tomorrow, I would like us to have our skirts sewn, and ideally our bodices attached to our skirts. That's the plan. So today I'm just going to whiz down these seams, and then I'm going to talk to you about how you line up your bodice, so you can do that tonight. And then we can be at a good point for tomorrow, which will be doing all the tricky things, bagging out and also putting our zips in. Sorry guys, I'm just going to go speed sewing now just to get this done. The other one. Really important that you always pin so that all your fabric's on the left, your pins are on the top of that side, and then you've got the open edge on the right. You want to be pinning with all the fabric here. It would slow you down, it would be a nightmare. Finally, I'm just going to do the centre back seam. So just below that notch, I'm going to start sewing probably about an inch below. So I didn't really tell you, but I was reversing at all of those points at the beginning and at the end of every seam to make sure they're nice and secure. Let's cut those threads off before we start talking about pinning. Now, before you actually pin yours, you need to make sure you've finished those seams. So we were saying single, ideally single seam for the back. So how you would do that if you have done it my way is you'll just need to peel away the seam, put it under your overlock or machine when you're zigzagging, and then just peel it back. It's almost if you press it open first, that will make it a lot easier. And that's how you can kind of still do it singly, even though it's stitched together as a seam. For your side seams, you can just overlock those together and then press them towards the back of the garment. Back of the skirt. Okay, so, oh, so pretty. I can't wait. I don't know what I'm going to wear this to, but I have to wear this to something. Fortunately, my cousin's wedding is cancelled because of everything. She was getting married at the end of May. This would be a beautiful dress to wear to a wedding, wouldn't it? Right. So, matchy time. Okay, so I have got my bodice. I have got my skirt, and I'm going to line up my centre back edges of my skirt and bodice. Pop a pin in. Then we have got a notch that is in the skirt that lines up with the back bodice seam. Back bodice dart, sorry. And then the side seams of the skirt and of the bodice should line up. Obviously, I'm not actually going to sew this because I haven't finished that seam allowance yet. I'm just showing you guys as we go along. Then we've got another notch here in the skirt, and that's lining up with one of the front waist darts. So pop that in. Oh gosh, bent pin. Like so. Then moving along, and we have got another notch, and we're lining that up with the other waist seam. And then it's a repetition of what we've done on the other side. So we've got the side seam of the bodice lining up with the side seam of the skirt. And again, a reminder that that does need to be finished before you would stitch this. And then we've got a notch lining up in the skirt with the bodice, back bodice dart. Make sure that your darts, as you're pinning the darts in the direction that they were pressed as well. Okay, so once you've pinned that, you then just want to go back in and pin in between, just so that you have got all the edges really nicely lined up together. Now this could be another fitting stage as well, and you may have found that when you tried your bodice on, it was a little bit short in the waist, or maybe it was a bit long. So when you stitch this seam, you might find you want to take a slightly different seam allowance. If you're taking some off your bodice, it's better to just trim your bodice down and then re-stitch the bottom of your darts so that they're secure, and then attach it to the skirt. But if you feel like both you can afford to lose some of the length on the skirt, then you could just take it away from both. Okay, you get my gist. Pinning, 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 pinning. So all the way along there like that. So from today, so from the end of today, the skirt should be attached to the bodice. Shoulder seam should be left open. If you are doing the lined version, then you don't need to overlock or zigzag stitch these edges together. But if you're not, if you're doing the facing, then you do need to do those and press them up towards the bodice. If you're doing the lining version, then just press them up towards the bodice. You don't need to finish those seams because they will get encased with the lining when we do that. So, those of you that are doing the lining, if you can make up the lining, so it's basically like making a whole nother second bodice. So everything that I did with the bodice, the darts, the front and back darts, and also the side seams, pressing it open, if you can get it to that stage. If you are doing the facing, then you want to just join your facing pieces at the side seams. So here's one of my facing pieces that would be cut on the fold to be bigger. And there's the other one, and you're basically just joining them there. Okay. One thing that I didn't do was not slip stitch. Stay stitch, there we go. I didn't stay stitch my Betty, and I know that some people really feel strongly about stay stitching. I often find that stay stitching doesn't really do that much. Certainly, the problem with the Betty dress is that back neckline is on the bias, So stay stitching this isn't so important, but stay stitching the, oh, brilliant. Yes, Alex, I'll mention that. But stay stitching the, that back neckline will end up just stretching it a bit more. So I would recommend using a stay tape rather than stay stitching that, just in case any of you were wondering why I hadn't done that. Alex has just pointed out that we do have a sew along, so it's not a video sew along, but we do have a step-by-step photo sew along on our blog for the Betty dress. So if you want to see more details, then you can do that. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there for today because there isn't really anything else more that's right for us to do. Tomorrow we're going to get straight into it because we have got to put a zip in, we have got to do our bagging out, and yeah, I probably won't get the hem done with you, but I will certainly be talking about it and showing you how to do it, and I can also reference the one that I did this morning. Right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. And someone's like, too fast, too fast. I'm sorry that I've gone too fast, but hopefully you can watch this again. It usually uploads within 10 minutes of me finishing, so you can watch it again and go at the pace that is right for you. Obviously, normally we're not going at this pace. It's just because I want to get as much in as possible. And also I'm a speedy sewer, sorry. Thanks so much for joining us. If you'd like to give us a donation, then please do for this video. Obviously, it's everything we're doing here is free, but please do support us if you can. And the link is below in the description box. And yeah, that's it. Someone's saying good night. You must be in Australia. Good night. Good morning to those of you over in the US. And to those of you in the UK, have a lovely afternoon, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.